Hello everyone, welcome to DBSK Intermediate College YouTube channel. Today I am going to explain you the first prose of your syllabus, A Girl with a Basket. It was your first chapter of your English prose. Today we will discuss, we will explain, we will learn from I had left New Delhi to Dear Desire. कहने का तात्पर्य है कि आई हैड लेफ्ट न्यू दिल्ली यहाँ से लेकर डियर डिज़ायर तक, इसके बीच में जितने भी कंटेंट हैं उसी के बारे में आज चर्चा होगी. लेट्स स्टार्ट. एज वी नो, इंग्लिश प्रोज चैप्टर 1 अ गर्ल विद अ बास्केट रिटन बाय विलियम सी डगलस. वी शुड नो अबाउट विलियम सी डगलस. विलियम सी डगलस वाज अ जज ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका. He came to India in 1950 and we also know on 15 August 1947 the partition between India and Pakistan was decreed. 9 million people left Pakistan and came to India by the fear of religious fanaticism. And the story A Girl with a Basket, which is written by William C. Douglas, reveals the natural beauty of the India and also it reveals the critical condition of refugee children, people who came to India from Pakistan in 1947. What is the reason behind it? Why William C. Douglas came to India in 1950? William C. Douglas was attracted by the physical beauty of was attracted by the natural beauty of India, and as we know, he was a judge of Supreme Court of United States of America. A Girl with a Basket reveals the natural beauty of India, the critical condition of refugee people of India. Let's start from I had left New Delhi to Dear Desire. I had left New Delhi for the Himalayas. The story starts from Delhi. The present essay, A Girl with a Basket, its story starts Delhi. The writer wanted to see the Rani Khet. That is why in Rani Khet, there was an old British Army hill station and it was also a Himalayan range area. Rani Khet is located in Uttarakhand in present time, and Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Kashmir, or we can say whole area of North India is hill area. He wanted to see the Rani Khet and its natural beauty. Then he decided to go to Rani Khet. The present essay starts from Delhi, and as you know, William C. Douglas decided to go to Rani Khet. I had left New Delhi for the Himalayas. William C. Douglas says that I went to Himalayas. Or we can say William C. Douglas says that he was going to Himalayas. I was going as far as Bareilly by train and then by car to Rani Khet, an old British Army hill station located on 6,000 foot ridge opposite a 120-mile stretch of snow-capped Himalayas. The train was slow and it stopped at all the base stations. At every stop I swung open the door of compartment. I swung open the door of my compartment and walked the platform. William C. Douglas described about his journey and how he talked to the people on platform. I had left New Delhi for the Himalayas. William C. Douglas, on his way to Rani Khet from Delhi, he says that he went to Bareilly by train and then by car to Rani Khet. As here he was mentioned, I was going as far as Bareilly by train and then by car to Rani Khet. On his journey from Delhi to Rani Khet, he went to Bareilly by car and then by car. He went to Bareilly by train and then by car to Rani Khet. and further he says that an old British hill station located on 6,000 foot ridge opposite a 120-mile stretch of snow-capped Himalayas. An old British Army hill station was located in Ranikhet at 6,000 foot from sea level against the snow-capped Himalayas. 120 miles spot running land with snow, or we can say against the snow-capped Himalayas, which was spot running near about 120 miles. It's against an old British Army hill station located in Ranikhet at 6,000 foot above from sea level against the 120-mile stretch snow-capped Himalayas. Against, pay attention here what I am saying to you. Against 120-mile snow-capped Himalayas and old British Army hill station located in Ranikhet at 6,000 foot from the sea level. The train was slow. The train was going slowly and it stopped. The train was stopped at every bay station. The train was going slowly and it stopped at the bay of the station. At the station of the bay, we can say, and it stopped at all the bay stations. As we know, the train was going slowly and it stopped at all the bay stations. The train was stopped at every station of the bay on which the train was going. At every stop, William C. Douglas says that at every stop, when the train stopped on the platform, at every stop I swung open the door of my compartment and walked the platform. Forcefully, I opened the door of my compartment and walked the platform. That is why William C. Douglas want to talk to the people, and in the train he cannot able to find somebody who can speak English. So this is the reason he got down at every railway station, walked there and talked to the people to know the real or actual condition of India and the natural beauty of India. Further he mentioned about like this: the platforms were packed with the people, Sikhs, Muslim, Hindus, soldiers, merchants, fairies, porters, beggars, hawkers. Almost everyone was barefoot and dressed in loose white garments. The platform were packed with the people like this: soldier, merchants, beggars, hawkers, etc. And near about everyone, in which porter, beggar, Hindus, Muslims, hawkers, etc. Near about everyone was barefoot. There was no shoes in their leg, and they all of wore loose white garment on his body. I would ask at least 3 people before I could find one who spoke English. William C. Douglas says that hardly I could find 1 out of 3 Indian people who could speak English, and then I find one who can speak English. I talk to the people who can speak English. Finally, William C. Douglas find one who spoke English, and he talked to the people on world politics, or we can say world affair, and every major topic of the day, the news produced. उन दिन की खबरों पर आधारित हमने हर एक बड़े प्रकरण पर बातें की, हमने संसार की राजनीति पर चर्चा की। विलियम सी डगलस को कम से कम 3 लोगों से पूछना पड़ता था, तब उन्हें कोई एक अंग्रेजी बोलने वाला मिलता था, और विलियम सी डगलस उसी से बात करते थे जो अंग्रेजी बोल लेता था। यही वो कारण है कि वे प्रत्येक ठहराव पर, ट्रेन के प्रत्येक ठहराव पर वे अपने रेलगाड़ी के डिब्बे से बाहर आते थे, प्लेटफॉर्म पर टहलते थे, लोगों से बातें करते थे, ताकि वो जान सकें भारत की जो एक्चुअल कंडीशन है वो क्या है, जो लोग पाकिस्तान छोड़कर भारत आए उनकी क्या दशा है, उनकी एक्चुअल कंडीशन क्या है, उनकी रियल कंडीशन क्या है और भारत की नेचुरल ब्यूटी क्या है। इन दिस वे I was trying to get a feel of the pulse of the nation, checking an opinion against official attitudes and reports. In this way, William C. Douglas wanted to check the actual condition, the real condition of India with the public opinion against official reports and government attitudes, or we can say official attitudes and government's reports. He wanted to check the pulse of the nation with the public opinion against official attitudes and सरकारी reports. कहने का तात्पर्य है विलियम सी डगलस जो है राष्ट्र की भावना को जानने का प्रयास कर रहे थे या जानना चाहते थे। इन दिस वे, इस प्रकार लोगों से बातें करके कि वर्ल्ड पॉलिटिक्स पर उन्होंने बातें की, उस दिन की खबरों पर आधारित उसने हर बड़े प्रकरण पर बातें की। बातें इसलिए हो रही थी ताकि वह राष्ट्र की जो नब्ज है उसको जान सकें। जो लोग पाकिस्तान छोड़कर भारत आए हैं उनका क्या ख्याल है इस राष्ट्र के प्रति, क्योंकि अभी हिंदुस्तान तो एक राष्ट्र बना है। ये बात 1947 और 1950 के बीच में है। ही केम टू इंडिया इन 1950। 1950 में विलियम सी डगलस भारत भ्रमण पर आए थे, तब की ये बात है। तो जो शरणार्थी लोग हैं उनका क्या विचार है और राष्ट्र के प्रति क्या समझते हैं, इसलिए वे प्रत्येक ट्रेन के प्रत्येक ठहराव पर लोगों से बातें करते थे। इन दिस वे आई वॉज ट्राइंग टू गेट अ फील ऑफ द पल्स ऑफ द नेशन, चेकिंग ओपिनियन अगेंस्ट का मतलब होता है विरोध, ऑफिशियल एटीट्यूड्स एंड रिपोर्ट्स। इन दिस वे विलियम सी डगलस wanted to check the pulse of the nation with the public opinion against official attitudes and government reports. And further, stanza he says that, the further lines, the route lay through one of the richest of India's agricultural areas. Here William C. Douglas described the natural beauty of India, or we can say here William C. Douglas described the things and scene he saw on his way to रानीखेत from Delhi। अर्थात दिल्ली से रानीखेत के रास्ते के बीच जिन दृश्यों को जिन वस्तुओं को उन्होंने देखा उसी के बारे में वो व्याख्या करेंगे। द रूट ले थ्रो वन ऑफ द रिचेस्ट ऑफ इंडियाज एग्रीकल्चरल एरियाज, द थिंग्स एंड द सीन ऑन हिज वे टू रानीखेत फ्रॉम दिल्ली, हियर ही डिस्क्राइब्स, यहाँ वो उसी की व्याख्या करने हैं। और वी कैन से विलियम सी डगलस डिस्क्राइब्स द थिंग्स एंड द सीन ऑन हिज वे टू रानीखेत फ्रॉम दिल्ली ही हैज सीन, जो उन्होंने देखा है, जिन वस्तुओं को, जिन दृश्यों को, उसी की आगे वो व्याख्या करने जा रहे हैं। द रूट ले थ्रो वन ऑफ द रिचेस्ट ऑफ इंडियाज एग्रीकल्चरल एरिया, द रूट फ्रॉम दिल्ली टू रानीखेत वाज अ वेरी फर्टाइल एरिया of India, or we can say the route from Delhi to Ranikhet passed through the plain of the upper Ganga river. The railway track which was running between Bareilly to Delhi, the railway track which is running Delhi to Bareilly, it was the plain of the upper Ganga river. That is why it was a very fertile area of India. The route lay through one of the richest of India's agricultural areas. This was the plain of the upper Ganga river, 1,000 feet above sea level, but tropical. The plain of the upper Ganga river was 1,000 feet above from sea level. This is the reason it was tropical. This is the reason it was tropical, but it was not region. If any kind of land become tropical, this is not region. Here agal with a basket, the plain of the upper Ganga river are 1,000 feet above sea level. The plain of the upper Ganga river is 1,000 feet above from sea level, but tropical. किंतु ये उष्ण कटिबंधीय है। गंगा नदी का जो उत्तरी मैदान था ये समुद्र तल से हजारों फीट ऊंचा था, तो जब हजारों फीट ऊंचा था इट वाज सब ट्रॉपिकल, इसे समशीतोष्ण होना चाहिए था, ठंडा प्रदेश होना चाहिए था, बट ट्रॉपिकल, किंतु ये गर्म प्रदेश था। द गंगा वाज ब्राउन सिल्ट swollen with flood waters. In 1950, when William C. Douglas came to India to see the natural beauty of India, to feel the critical condition of Indian people who came India from Pakistan, the Ganga was in flood. The Ganga was in flood, and the dirty water of the Ganga river looked brown, and its overflow were covered the thousands acres of rice in its overflow, or we can say the thousands acres of rice were covered with the flooded water of the Ganga river. उस समय गंगा नदी में बाढ़ आई हुई थी। भूरे रेत वाली गंगा बाढ़ के पानी से उफन रही थी और हजारों एकड़ धान की फसल गंगा नदी के पानी में डूबी हुई थी। Here the Ganga was brown silt swollen with flood waters, its overflow and inundating thousands of acres of rice. We can say in 1950 the Ganga was in flood and its overflow covered the thousands acres of rice in its overflow. Its overflow, or we can say the Ganga river covered thousands acres of rice in its overflow. भूरे रेत वाली गंगा बाढ़ से करा रही थी, अर्थात गंगा नदी में बाढ़ आई हुई थी। एंड द डर्टी वाटर ऑफ द गंगा रिवर लुक्ड ब्राउन, और गंगा नदी का जो मटमैल पानी था वो भूरा कलर का दिख रहा था, भूरे रंग का दिख रहा था। गंगा नदी में बाढ़ आई हुई थी। इट्स स्वोलन विथ फ्लड वाटर्स, अर्थात गंगा नदी बाढ़ के पानी से फूल रही थी, अर्थात फैल रही थी, फूल फैल रही थी। गंगा नदी में बाढ़ आई हुई थी। एंड इट्स ओवरफ्लो वेयर कवर्ड 1000 फीट्स ऑफ एकर्स ऑफ राइस, और हजारों एकड़ धान की फसलें गंगा नदी में डूबी हुई थी। दैट इज वाई दिस वाज द प्लेन ऑफ द अपर गंगा रिवर। एंड in 1950 the Ganga was in flood and its overflow were covered 1000 acres of rice in water, or in the water of the Ganga river. And finally we can say the dirty water of the Ganga river looked brown and thousands acres of rice were covered with the water of flooded Ganga river, अर्थात हजारों एकड़ धान की फसलें गंगा नदी के बाढ़ वाले पानी में डूबी हुई थीं। टू द नॉर्थ वेयर जंगल ग्रेट एक्सपेंसेज ऑफ ग्रास, टू द नॉर्थ ऑफ द रेलवे ट्रैक देयर वाज जंगल, रेलवे ट्रैक के उत्तर में जंगल थे। हाई ग्रेट एक्सपेंसेज ऑफ ग्रास, देयर वाज प्लेस ऑफ ग्रास लैंड देयर, और वी कैन से विलियम सी डगलस सेज दैट देयर वाज places of grassland higher than man's head. The grass was higher than man's head, and miles and miles of great expanses, and it was unbroken except there was some trees, or we can say a number of clump of trees we can see in the spot land which is running to the horizon. Here William C. Douglas mentioned about this. To the north were jungles, great expanses of grass higher than a man's head, and unbroken except for an occasional clump of trees, the home of tiger, elephant, python and cobras. It was interesting. There was places of grassland higher than man's head, and the thickness of grass and trees gave shelter to the dangerous elephantas, cobras, pythons and tigers. We can say the grassland was the home of tiger, elephants and cobras and pythons. That is why this was the plain of the upper Ganga river. The plain of the upper Ganga river was a grassland, and it was unbroken grassland, except there was some places with a number of trees which we can say a clump of trees. मतलब पेड़ों के झुरमुट के अलावा ये घास के मैदान कहीं से भी नहीं टूटे थे। एक सपाट भूमि पर क्षितिज तक फैला हुआ एक घास का मैदान था, जो पेड़ों के झुरमुट के अलावा ये मैदान कहीं से भी टूटा नहीं था। सपोज दैट इफ यू सी अ लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस, देन यू फाइंड देयर वाज 2 or 3 trees that be called clump of trees. If you looking a spot land running to the horizon, then you find 2 or 3 trees that be called clump of tree. जैसे आप एक क्षितिज तक फैले हुए सपाट मैदान को देख रहे हो तो देखने में ही लगता है कि ये मैदान कहीं से भी टूटा नहीं है। आपको इधर कदा बीच बीच में कहीं 2-4 पेड़ों के झुरमुट दिखाई पड़ते हैं, तो इन पेड़ों के झुरमुट के अलावा ये घास के मैदान कहीं से भी नहीं टूटे थे। एंड द थिकनेस, थिक माने मोटा होता है, द थिकनेस ऑफ ग्रास लैंड एंड ट्रीज गेव शेल्टर टू डेंजरस एलिफेंट, पाइथन, टाइगर्स एंड कोबराज. Or we can say the thickness of trees and grassland gave to home like this type animals, like this type dangerous animal, cobras, pythons, elephant and tigers. Everywhere else there was a flat land running to the horizon, but dotted here and there by the sacred banyan trees or by ropes of Parker trees. Here William C. Douglas describes there was a number of trees in their natural shape. When we planted some kind of trees like banyan and Parkers, we planted it in a natural shape, one by one. I planted one Parker here, then in its line, second here and then third there. Or we can say when we planted a tree like this type banyan and Parkers, we planted it in rows. And that is why William C. Douglas described about there was some trees in their natural shape like banyan trees and Parker trees. Shaped like ellipse and having thick twisted trunks, hot humid hair was moving from the southwest. From the southwest of the railway track, from the southwest, William C. Douglas found air humid, hot air humid. We can say William C. Douglas found air humid from the southwest of railway track. And he also found monkeys. He also found monkeys with their babies clinging to them, who were stepped down at the railway station for looking food or in the searching of food. The monkeys with their babies clinging to underneath or clinging to them. The writer William C. Douglas found the monkeys with their babies clinging to them. They were stepped down at platform. अर्थात it means the monkeys jumped on railway platform from trees to looking for food. Monkeys, some of them mothers with babies clinging to them and riding underneath swing of trees at the station looking for food. The villages we passed had walls made of mud mixed with water and cow dung. Their peaked roofs were thatched. Bundles of grass tied to bamboo poles stretched across the rafters. That day the pumpkin vines that grew over them were in bloom, trailing streaks of yellow over draped walls. And further William C. Douglas says that in the villages we passed, जिन गाँव से होके हम गुजरे, अब इसके पहले चर्चा की गई before it as I have told you. The monkeys with their babies clinging to them, they jumped from trees on railway platform for looking food. And in the villages we passed, William C. Douglas saw their houses which had mud huts with thatched bamboo poles and grass. And in 1950, the walls and the thatches were covered with the pumpkin vines with yellow flower in them. And in this way, the natural scenery of India filled the heart of the writer with inner happiness. Or we can say here William C. Douglas says that how anyone can build a roof, we are discussing about the condition of India in 1950. 1950 के भारत के ऊपर हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। तो 1950 के भारत में था क्या? इन द विलेजेज विलियम सी डगलस पास्ट ही सॉ द हाउसेज ऑफ द इंडियन पीपल विद थैच्ड रूफ। जो उनके घरों की छतें थी वो थैच्ड रूफ थी, नुकीली छतें हुए थी, ऐसे इस तरह। तो इस तरह से घरों की छत नहीं थी, वो छप्पर था। तो इसी के बारे में विलियम सी डगलस बता रहे हैं कि 1950 में जो भारत के घरों की छतें थी वो किस तरह से बनी हुई थी। हियर उन्होंने मेंशन किया है कि द विलेजेज वी पास्ट हैड वॉल्स मेड ऑफ मड मिक्स्ड विथ वाटर एंड काउ डंग। जिन गांवों से हम गुजरे उन गांवों के घरों की जो दीवारें थी, द वॉल्स ऑफ द विलेज इन व्हिच वी हैव पास्ड मेड ऑफ विथ वाटर एंड काउ डंग एंड मड। कीचड़, गाय के गोबर और पानी के मिश्रण से उनके घरों की दीवारें बनाई गई थी। और उन घरों की दीवारों पे जो छत था, दियर पीक्ड रूफ, उनके जो नुकीले छत थे। तो छप्पर ऐसे बनता ना, इसका जो टॉप एरिया है वो नुकीला है, पीक्ड है, ठीक। ये उन्नतोदर ढाल है, ये एक दूसरे के जस्ट अपोजिट है। तो ये छप्पर कैसे बनाया जाता है उसी के बारे में चर्चा है, ठीक। हर किसी के पास छप्पर होगा, उसको अच्छे से एनालिसिस कर लीजिएगा, समझ जाओगे। दियर पीक्ड रूफ वेयर थैच्ड बंडल्स ऑफ ग्रास टाइड ऑफ बैम्बो पोल्स स्ट्रेच्ड अक्रॉस द रेफ्टर्स इन द विलेजेज व्हिच हैड मड हट्स with grass and bamboo pole, and the walls and the thatches were covered with the pumpkin vines with yellow flower in them. In this way the crackling streaks on brown walls, उन मटमैल दीवालों पर जो ट्रैकलिंग स्किल थी, द ट्रेलिंग स्ट्रिक्स, जो पंपकिन वाइन की जो लताएं लटक रही थी, ऑफ येलो ओवर ड्रेप वॉल्स, वी कैन से द वॉल्स एंड द थैशेज वेयर कवर्ड विद द पंपकिन वाइन्स विथ येलो फ्लावर टू देम। इन दिस वे द हार्ट ऑफ द राइटर फील्ड टू सी द नेचुरल ब्यूटी ऑफ इंडिया, टू सी द नेचुरल ब्यूटी ऑफ इंडिया। And further he says that at one station my routine of talking with the people was interrupted. As you know, William C. Douglas stepped down at every railway station and talked to the people to know the actual condition of India. Here his routine of talking with the people was interrupted. What happened? We should know. At one station my routine of talking with the people was interrupted. As soon as William C. Douglas alighted down at the railway station, a young group of refugee children gathered around him. That is why they were selling basket. The refugee children were selling basket, and all of them have hand woven simple basket and fans in their hand, and those basket and fans were made of reeds, and the baskets and fans were made in simple design and pattern. The basket and fans were made in simple design and pattern, and they raised their basket in high, or we can say they raised their basket high for author and shouted the word in Hindi. But writer, or we can say but William C. Douglas failed to understand the words which were shouting by the refugee children, but he could not fail to understand their desire, or we can say William C. Douglas could understand their desire very well. And as you know, the refugee children were very poor, and they all wanted to sell their basket and fans to the author. And this is the reason they were surrounded him. That is why they wanted to sell their basket and fans to the writer. At one station, my routine of talking with the people was interrupted as soon as I alighted. A group of young children gathered around me. They were selling basket. Hand women read basket with simple design and pattern. They held basket high, shouting word I did not know, but conveying unmistakably their desire. The question is raised: why writer did not understand? Why writer could not understand the word which is shouting by the refugee children? That is why, because William C. Douglas did not follow Hindi, and the refugee children shouted about their items in Hindi words, and William C. Douglas did not follow Hindi. But William C. Douglas could not fail to understand their desire. He could understand their desire very well, and further he purchased some baskets, fans and sticks, etc. Today, I hope it is enough for you. I hope it is enough for you. Then we meet again in next video. तब तक के लिए आप लोगों का धन्यवाद है।